Hey guys, Mario with JDM Fitness here, and before I jump into today's video, I want you guys to take a quick look at this chart, kind of get familiar with it in a general sense, just take a look at some things, notice some similarities, and I'll jump right into it. Let's see. Alright. So first off, excuse me if I butcher the name. This is better known as Prelepin's table, or better known as the Soviet Union's very own Alexander Prelepin. And if you are wondering what is he responsible for, what are his achievements, is that he was responsible for the Soviet Union Olympic weightlifting team, which I believe, just due to his table alone, took home 27 Olympic lifting records. Just off the top of my head, if I can remember correctly. And essentially what he had done was that he did a quote-unquote meta-analysis, you could say, of thousands of Olympic weightlifters, and he started noticing very similar patterns within their lifting. And he started noticing that whenever they did percentages, which you'll notice right here in the left column, they always did it off their latest meet. So whether it was their last competition, their last meet, whatever the event was, they would typically base their new percentages off that and, kind of go from there in order to progress and excel. But again, what people started doing later on after this, they started applying it towards powerlifters. Whereas you could see here, this was primarily meant for Olympic weightlifters, doing, let's say, a clean and jerk, a snatch. So you can kind of see down here at the bottom, 90%, you're only going to be able to do one or two because it's a full body movement, and after one or two reps, anything plus your 90% plus, you're pretty much done after that in terms of power output. So again, and this has had success with many powerlifters, so this is kind of why I want to emphasize and show this to you guys. So Prelepin's table, how do I apply it to my training, where can I apply it, and how can I add on to it? We'll cover that today. So right here, I just want to show you guys the percentages that we have. We have anything below 70%, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and 90% plus. And right here we have our reps and sets. So any sort of combination you can think of, and this would be your range, or in other words, the total reps you'd want to shoot for. So anywhere within the range of 18 to 30 total reps is essentially what you would want to come within. And then also Prelepin had what was better known as his optimal total reps, meaning that, I guess you could say, where he found the best results within most of the athletes he was working with and the overall meta-analysis of all the Olympic weightlifters, he found that the quote-unquote optimal, and I hate saying that word, sorry, but optimal tended to be 24 for anything below 70%, 70 to 79 he found to be 18 reps being optimal, 80 to 89, 15 total reps, and anything 90 plus, 7 reps. So first off, let's see, where do we begin with this? Let's start off with 70%. So let's say for me, for example, actually let's start off at 80%, me for example. I just recorded recently a squat video, and essentially in my squat day after my Jim Wendler 5-3-1 working sets, what I had done was I tried shooting for 5 sets of 5 at 80%, and 5 times 5, 25 reps. I realized that essentially I was shooting for too many reps past Prelepin's table. So when I came across this and I started kind of connecting the dots, I realized, there is some truth behind this table. I started to fail and my power output significantly went down after the third set. And then I told myself, according to Prelepin's table, I should have set myself within a quote-unquote optimal range, or a safe range where I know that I can produce a significant amount of power with the given sets and reps. So what I'm going to be doing for my training now in my strength weeks is I will be incorporating 5 sets of 3, which goes very well with Prelepin's optimal total reps. So 5 sets of 3 being 15 total reps. And let's just I'm going to write right now a hypothetical lifter and how his training would essentially progress. So excuse me for a minute. Okay, Mario back here again, and here I have a hypothetical lifter, lifter X, sure. And here, what I have here is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and this is not by any means supposed to look like the Jim Wendler 5-3-1. I'm just giving you guys a generic example of how to tweak and mess around with your training percentages in order to, I guess you could say, increase either your 1 rep max, increase your strength, or whatever it is that you are looking to optimize. So here I have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. For week 1, we're doing all our compound movements at a percentage, or 80% training max. And then week 2, we have an 85% training max. Week 3, we bump it up to 90. And then for week 4, we kind of just deload, take it easy, jump back to 70%. So here I have the optimal ranges according to Prelepin. And his optimal ranges in the 80 percentile was 15, and here we just have any sort of combination you could do. So let's say that you're doing your working sets on your bench, right? And if you were using your 80% training max, what you would do is either 5 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 5. And again, I'm just basing this off of his optimal ranges, but oh my god, excuse me, sorry. If you rewind the video a bit, you'd be able to see the ranges that he had. So as long as you were within those ranges and you felt comfortable doing so, so even if you didn't come really close, maybe you were 1 or 2 reps shy of his optimal range, you could slowly build up to that. You're not necessarily forced to, oh, I have to hit his optimal range, otherwise it's, I fail and lose all my gains. That's not the scenario. It's, let's say you only were able to hit maybe 12 reps, right? 6 sets of 2 or something. You could slowly build up to it, so next time, okay, I'm going to add 1 more rep to all my sets, or maybe just on 1 set I'll add 1 more rep, and that will build up over time. Even co-admin Josh Anderson had mentioned that as well. 1 extra rep to just 1 of your sets can build up in the long term, which we tend to neglect and not think about. So situation 2, in the 80% all the way to the 90%, he still utilized the optimal number of 15 being his standard. So again, this is another situation. Let's say that we're only able to bang out 14 because now we're working with a 5% more. So of course we have to be honest with ourselves and realistic and say, I might not be able to bang out his realistic number because 85%, that's pretty taxing, especially if you're going to be doing a quite number of sets. So in my scenario, if I were working with 85% of my training max, I would probably, and let's say I was doing it on like a squat or deadlift, I would probably be doing about 7 sets of doubles, because I mean, realistically, who's going to do 2 sets of 7? I mean, hell, I mean, granted, it's possible, but I'm pretty sure you feel fried afterward. So at least, 7 sets of doubles, and that should be ideal. That's kind of why I wrote down ideal at the bottom, because that's what I would do in my scenario. And again, we came up with 14 total reps, and right here, we're just 1 rep shy of his optimal, so we're not necessarily bad. We're still in good shape. And week 3, we bump it up to 90% for all our compounds. So now our bench, squat, and our deadlift are all now at 90%. So essentially, when you're working at 90% or 90% above, and then just whatever you want to do, maybe hit a new 1 rep max or whatever your goal may be, this would be the time to test it out. See, okay, where can I assess my progress? How have I been doing? How have the weeks that I've been training adding up? And have they paid off? So now, here we go. According to him, what he finds to be optimal is a total rep scheme, or total number of reps being 4. So you can either break it up in whatever way you want. You could do 2 sets of doubles, and that of course comes out to 4, or you could do 4 sets of singles coming out again to 4, and again you'd still be at 4 reps total. And then for your deload week, again, he has that optimal number again set up at 18, and if I were to tackle a deload week, this is kind of how I'd handle it. I'd probably do about 6 sets of triples and just keep it at that. And then once you're comfortable with the weight that you're handling, and you say to yourself, and be honest with yourself as well, okay, I can do this weight, I'm not struggling, I'm not breaking form, I can add more weight to the bar. And then from there, you can maybe you could even follow the Jim Wendler rule of even adding 10 pounds to your lower lifts and kind of just recalculate it from there. Same, or maybe even also like, the Wendler recommendation of adding 5 pounds to your lifts. But typically, if I'm not off the top of my head, I do believe that they added 5% to all of their lifts. So that is something you'd want to recalculate. So again, this was just a hypothetical, generic situation. But if I can kind of speak anecdotally on my side of it and how I'm going to be applying this to the Wendler 531, it's that you noticed I have, if you looked at my video and how I set it up, week 1 is going to be consisted of 4 sets of 6 at my 60% max. I've decided that week 2 I'll try to bump the weight up just to 65%. So it's only I believe it's a 10-pound increase, very minimal. But what I'll be doing is I'll be doing 6 sets of 4. I mean, it's still going to be the same total number of reps because I'm working with 65%, which is manageable and doable. But you know, I guess you could say it's more for just kind of building myself up. So I'll be doing 65%, 6 sets of 4, so hopefully I'm not too fried out. So I'll try that out following week. And then on the 3rd week, which is essentially Wendler's heaviest week where you pretty much go all out, recalculate your maxes, and see what's up. So for the 3rd week, I will be doing 70%. So for the 70%, I will be utilizing the 6 sets of triples. And I'm not sure what the working weight is off the top of my head, but again, I will have to reassess and see how everything works out. And that's really it. And then on my deload week, I'll pretty much jump back down to the 4 sets of 6 at my 60%, continue with that again. So it'll be 6, 8, 10, 6, repeat again. And again, this was Mario with JDM Fitness, and I hope this table in general can help you guys out in calculating your percentages and what you guys want to do with your compound lifts, because this is actually a very useful tool and, you know, a toolbox of many possible applications that you can apply to your training. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the Facebook because I'm more active on that as opposed to the YouTube channel. And thank you guys for watching again. Thank you. Take care.